I didn't know if it was a man or a woman or even a person. I just remember being swept up as if something came down in a big circle and swept me away, like my turn to get on the Ferris wheel but faster. And I knew at the top I would just fly off. There was no one holding. I was flying. I remember looking down and seeing my shoes, green leather with a little buckle. That's how I placed my age, because they were my first school shoes. So I know it's too young to feel any sexual sensation, as they all say. But I did. I didn't recognize it as such then, but I never forgot it. And I never got close again except in the beginning, with Billy. It was a friend of my father's, a giant woman named Matilda, I learned later, who picked me up. It must have been just at the right time. Maybe even the time I was finally feeling planted on the ground. The time I was just feeling that I was a part of this world, and then shot from a cannon. And that's how it was with Billy, 20 years later. I had just got my first serious job at what I thought I wanted to do. I got a nice little place by the canal. I'd felt that I was a part of the world. My cat had fallen from the little window-type balcony I had overlooking the canal and landed on the convertible top of this old car I'd been looking at since I moved in. Funny enough, I had been remarking about it in my mind's eye because it was the same color as those first leather shoes, the ones I had for school, the ones I flew in. But not only that, it had the same texture. The car, the finish of it in particular, had the feeling of something that had been rubbed down, honed down. That, next to the chrome, which was more like nickel plating, gave a sensual feeling to me that I actually felt. I mean, it affected the rate of my breathing. I even seemed to walk differently when I came into view of the car. At one point, about a week after I'd moved in and absorbed the notion of the car, I found myself dressing with the car in mind. I never thought of the owner until Ludovica fell on its roof. She put a hole in it. She was fine. She was on the balcony the next day almost bragging. I put a note on the car under the windshield wiper. Now, it was 3 weeks since I moved in and 3 days since Ludovica's landing. The car never moved and the note was still in place. Then it rained and didn't stop. The ink on my note bled, and the rain dripped through the hole in the roof onto the wool upholstery. I went to the hardware store when I got home from work and bought a cheap tarp and some string. I put the tarp over the car in the rain, dressed in my office clothes, and got very wet as I did it, and I felt great. I tied the tarp down to the door handles and felt pretty good about it. I stepped back to look at the work I'd done. I was pretty proud of myself, but the car looked sad. That night, I lay in bed and thought about the car all night. I kept seeing it with that tarp laying on it wet, and I felt as if I'd reduced it to a derelict. Where was its owner? I was taking off of work tomorrow and going to figure out how to patch that roof properly. I slept soundly with that conviction. I woke that morning and the car was gone. My note. I had taken it off when I put the tarp on. A season passed. And as I said, I was really feeling a part of this world. I came home from work and the car was back, pretty much in the same spot. It had a different top, new, but it looked elegant. Brownish tan. The original top was black. The color difference almost made me lose my senses. It was stunning. I couldn't say, but I think I ran to it. I saw it from the back. When I got closer, I saw the hood was open and a man was bent into it. I came up on the other side of him, and he looked up at me with his hands still occupied in the engine compartment. I won't bore you with the details, or in fact I won't share them with you, but I flew. I got to the top of that spinning Ferris wheel, Matilda, whatever it was, and I flew. And I looked down, and I saw the green car. He was a photographer for Time magazine and traveled a lot. His apartment was in the building next to mine. He made love to me. His name was William Reamer. I called him Billy. We'd go riding in that green car, and then it took over. I'd look after it while he was gone on assignments. I'd sit in it sometimes. One of these times I was sitting in the car, I realized I didn't miss Billy. I was glad for the times he went away. I invented him, and he was a sweet substitute for that giant who threw me free when I was a kid. I invented most of Billy. We married even after I knew all this, and it's okay. Billy still goes away. We have 2 children. We don't have the car anymore. We don't live by the canal anymore. The boys are a joy. Billy is fine. We're grounded. And I still wait to fly.